Welcome back in. Trey Lowell here with Lowell Productions. In today's video, we're going to be spending some time with the Panasonic LUMIX S5 paired up with the old faithful Canon 24-105 f4. Now, if that's something that you're interested in, we'll be doing a full discussion and going over some video footage coming up next. So at this point, I've pretty much owned my S5 now, roughly, let's just say about 8 months. Have been completely thrilled with it, but it's also given me some time to experiment with different pieces of glass, whether it be the kit lens, this one, the 24-105, I also have the Canon 70-200, and I also have the nifty 50 from Canon as well, the f1.8. And I will have to admit, the 24-105 is old faithful in the lens that I definitely take with me and have shot with the most. You know, this lens is pretty ancient for most people, but it is an EF mount, and I was able to buy the Sigma Speed Booster or just adapter for $175, which pretty much unlocked all my EF mount glass for the S5. So for those out there that are looking to take advantage of your current glass, go ahead and maybe invest in a booster that way, or I shouldn't call it a booster, but an adapter to go ahead and take advantage of that. That being said, this is why I'm still using this 24-105, but man, whether it's an interview, whether it's an event, pretty much anything, even though it's an f4, I do find that this just focal range, the 24 being super wide, the 105 being tight enough, I can get compressed backgrounds at that f4. So really, what I'm trying to get at is, as much as I'd love this to be an f2.8, it being an f4 has not really been an issue so far. Now, as far as weight goes, it's packing a little bit of weight, but for most of us out there that are used to full frame cameras, you're probably already used to a lens or at least a setup of this size. Also, with a little bit more weight, I can get a little bit more stable shots. Even though the S5 has amazing IBIS, one thing that is a huge bonus on this particular lens is going to be the lens stabilization that we can actually pretty much just turn on and off. And even through this adapter, I'm still able to get full stabilization through the lens or through IBIS. I do find that most of the time, I don't actually use all the IBIS settings. In most cases, I actually use lens stab, and then I let the camera kind of do its natural thing, because I find the S5 with this particular setup and that lens stab is pretty solid. Obviously, I can go above and beyond, and I can use more of the stab. It does a little bit of cropping in. When I hold this thing in my hand, I get great stabilized footage, which leads me to, rather than talking about this setup more and more, let's go ahead and talk about some footage and some different events that I've shot, and so you guys can actually see some footage. So the first event that we're going to go ahead and start off with is going to be a recent hunt that I actually did in Thanksgiving. Now, this is pretty much run and gun as much as it can possibly be. The only difference in regards to setup on that particular day than this is I did have my V-mount battery, I had my monitor, and I did have an ND filter on here to combat the sunlight. But all in all, pretty much this was the setup, and the footage that you're watching was all shot with the 24-105. So we weren't going below an f4, and I was kind of going back and forth between, I want to say 4K, 8-bit, and I was shooting log footage. So it gave me a little bit more flexibility in post, and then I also would click into my slow motion where I was shooting 4K 60 8-bit. That gives you guys an understanding of outdoors what the footage would look like. But then, let's say you're not shooting outdoor stuff, but you're shooting weddings, so you're kind of a hybrid shooter. Now, I recently shot a wedding a few months back with this exact same setup. Now, this was the first time I have actually shot a wedding fully, completely with the S5, so still goofing around with it a little bit, but I actually shot a natural profile, and then I did auto white balance, which in most cases was totally fine. A couple of scenarios I found myself in a little bit of a pinch, but we had to do some white balance correction in post. But you guys can see the footage here. We were doing some indoor shooting, we were doing some outdoor shooting. Once again, a little bit of slow-mo and also that 24 frames 4K. Just kind of switching backs between those two, really because when I'm shooting a lot of this footage, I'm trying to capture real authentic moments at that 24 frames, and then I'm trying to have the kind of really smooth, buttery B-roll at the 60 frames, just to kind of have my different options for editing. So that gives you guys an understanding of an outside event and then also a wedding, which I imagine many people that are looking at this camera, you probably film and edit wedding videos. So for the third video, or the third style event that I actually shot, I am extremely proud of this one because of the particular lighting situation and the event style.
We just wrapped Revolution 2021. I'm talking over 1,000 students, all here in Orlando, Florida, all united behind the ideas of liberty, free markets, and the Constitution.
I was actually tasked with shooting a recap video for a group called Young Americans for Liberty, and they had a 2-day event indoors, lots of lights, tons of light going everywhere, students everywhere, and yeah, the Panasonic, I felt like, held its own. The only difference in this particular environment was shooting with the 24-105, I had my V mount, I had my monitor, I had my small rig handle, so a little bit more weight, which was why I think a lot of those shots came out extremely stable, extremely just usable overall, and all of this was shot in a standard profile, really because I wanted to be able to pass over this footage easily. The client wanted access to all the footage, which was another reason why I shot 8-bit. What I find is if I shoot 10-bit, a lot of people don't understand that it needs to be brought into a particular kind of editor, or they need a particular kind of program to open some of those 10-bit files. So I was, at the request of the client, you can kind of see all the video footage, but everything was shot 8-bit, and I'm very happy with how it came out. Now, another event, or I guess video that I recently shot, was a friend of mine playing some disc golf.
I'm just a big believer in always disking down, lowering the speed of the disc whenever you don't feel comfortable, and then live with the results. A lot of people like to disc up and think that's going to get them more distance, but usually it's the opposite.
Similar situation, 24-105, we're outside, so we had an ND filter on there, V-mount battery, small rig top handle, and my monitor. Kind of like my, I guess, generic go-to, and that setup, time and time again, pretty much I can go out there, I can film almost all day with that particular setup, and then any particular shots that I need to get, I don't need a tripod and I don't need a monopod, because with that weight plus all that setup, image stabilization, I'm able to capture some really good high quality footage with the S5. And once again, you guys can see here, on that particular day I was shooting log footage. I had a little bit more flexibility in regards to the white balance, didn't go full auto, but I was very happy with the end results as well. So the next video that I shot with this particular setup was more of a product style video, and that was actually for an electric bicycle, the SSR Sprinter 12. So you guys can kind of see here, this was once again with the 24-105 Panasonic LUMIX, the setup that we've been using the whole time. Lighting was pretty on point here. We did some fun stuff with the LEDs, and similar here, not any of these projects really have I even dabbled with the 10-bit, the Cinema 4K, anything like that. Honestly, because the 8-bit, the workflow is just so much easier in regards to being able to just, the files aren't huge, things of that nature, and then I'm also able to just see them when I pull them up in my computer. Really, it's just me being a little bit lazy. If I wanted to fully unlock some of the settings or like the video capabilities, definitely would want to be shooting 10-bit and definitely want to shoot that Cinema 4K. But you guys can kind of see in the video quality that's actually paying right now, that 8-bit, time and time again, seems to please at least my eye. And the final project that I shot with this that you guys are seeing was a behind the scenes with the push record guys, Marshall and Mark in DC. Had a ton of fun, and everything that you're watching was shot with the 24-105 paired up with the S5. Shot it all handheld once again, and time again, that 24-105 handheld scenario with just the zoom range and being able to pull focus nice and smooth there, going handheld. It's just an all-in-one lens kind of scenario that with the S5 has really been a treat. And if I had to just take one lens with me time and time again, it would be the 24-105. All in all, great lens. I think if you had any other EF mount focal range lens that was similar to that, maybe it was even the 24-70, maybe you had some Tokina or you had some Sigma glass, I think you're going to get similar results. You're going to be very happy with it. I just personally, this is what I have. This is what I felt like talking about. And time again, Old Faithful 24-105 f4 does not let me down, especially when paired up with the Panasonic LUMIX S5. I just think between the IBIS, the image stabe, the actual quality you're getting out of here, the zoom ranges, the actual cost of the lens, I want to say you could probably pick one of these up used for like 600, 700 bucks. Yeah, all in all, fantastic lens, and this is why I really wanted to talk about it and advise that if you're in the market for kind of staying in that EF mount or you already own EF mount glass, 24-105 with your Panasonic LUMIX S5 is going to be pretty sweet. But comments, questions, concerns, you guys drop them in the comments section below. And as always, it's Trey Lowell with Lowell Productions, and if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like the content I keep creating on this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video.